Hello and welcome back to the channel. Right now it's being reported that every U.S. state will see below freezing temperatures, and some of you may have already started to experience those below freezing temperatures. This frigid cold is compliments of the polar vortex, a large area of low pressure located near the poles. So what I wanted to talk about in all of this is the dangers that come as a result of this. Okay, it's not just about going into the house, turning on the furnace or lighting the fireplace or anything like that. There's a lot more at stake here, and so if I could say anything that will just nudge you a little bit, I would like to do that, especially those of you who have a farm that may have farm animals. That was one of the first things that came to my mind, is how cold it's going to get and what we need to do in preparation for all of this. Even if you don't have farm animals, but you have cats and dogs, this is a good time to look out for them and say, you know what, I think I need to do something during those times to ensure that they are going to still be alive. Okay? So anyway, these are some of the things that we need to consider. Okay, it says it's about to get cold and boiling water will flash freeze. So it's being reported that it's going to be so cold that boiling water will flash freeze. It also says that frostbite can occur within 30 minutes, and it will become a shock to the system for even those who are used to the toughest winters. That's how dangerous it can get. It says the coldest air of the season will be diving south, not leaving anyone out. Every single state in the U.S., including Hawaii, will reach below freezing temperatures. So, that being said, there's a lot to consider here. And it's not just going to be just for one day. As we looked at the extended calendar of weather, I saw other days that are going to get extremely cold, not just in the daytime, but overnight. So things to consider in all of this are keeping your family safe. And how do you do that? You got to make sure everything is tight. If you have any water pipes that you might be concerned with, because that's another issue. We used to experience that at our previous home, where the pipes would freeze, and then after they would thaw, they would burst, and we would have a major plumbing issue to scramble and fix, because it was a much older home that wasn't insulated very well, and so that cold air would affect the pipes. And so even in situations where your plumbing is protected, you have to consider these things, right? Not just the plumbing, but you want to make sure that you have everything you need if the power goes off. We had some recent power outages for a number of different reasons, so you want to make sure that you have a way to keep yourself warm if that does happen. Okay? As far as your animals go, if you have farm animals, make sure that you give them plenty of hay or straw to bed down in. If you have smaller animals like cats or small dogs, you might want to bring them and tuck them into a basement or something just until this short time passes, this cold weather, because it can get very dangerous for smaller animals. I know just being out there for just a few minutes, your fingertips are like, whoo, get me some relief, even inside of gloves. Even in the gloves. And so you want to make sure everything is looked at, okay? Some animals, like chickens, they can be very, very vulnerable in a time or times such as this. So you want to give them extra stuff, because they can nestle together, but they can also nestle down into the hay or the straw to keep themselves warm. And those are some of the biggest things we're thinking about. One thing that we discovered recently, it wasn't a recent discovery, but we didn't know that it was working or connected to anything, right? But anyway, I remember when we were first buying this place, they were showing us that it was 2 furnaces down there. And of course, one is just a regular gas furnace. But he said, this thing right here is a wood burning furnace. He said, I guess you guys can get it hooked back up or something if you ever wanted to use it to burn wood. And so we just kind of said, okay, I wonder what it would cost to get it fixed, right? And so we were thinking of checking into it or whatever to save money on gas. And so we just looked around at the thing, and then my husband said, you know what? All I have to do is hook this pipe up right here and do this and do that, and we're good to go. And so we tested it out before it got extremely cold, and we said, wow, this thing is still connected. It's still connected. The realtor just wasn't sure. And so once we did a few things, we discovered that the wood burning furnace that is next to the gas furnace still works. And the difference in the heat that it puts out is as night and day. A gas furnace can't compare to a wood burning furnace at all. So we thank the Most High for that. We thank Him for the fact that that thing is down there, and we had already gathered tons and tons of wood. Over the past 2 years of being here, we had gathered tons of it, including trees that we've recently had cut down over the summer. We've got a ton of wood, and it has been keeping us nice and toasty, and also saving on gas because even though we have a propane tank, you still have to pay to get that sucker filled up. So, if we don't have to use that, that is fine with us. And so having that wood burning furnace is a must in a situation like this. And so anyone who has any type of fireplace or wood burning stove or wood burning fireplace or whatever, this is the perfect time to utilize that thing, because it's going to get so cold that you're going to pretty much have to keep it running all day. But the nice thing about it is it gets so warm that if you do have any pipes that are in danger of freezing, that thing is going to eliminate that danger completely, as you see. One thing I wanted to say too, in all of this, anyone who is planning on buying land and going off grid or anything like that, make sure that part of your overall plan or goal is to get some type of wood burning situation, some type of wood burning fireplace or furnace, because that will save you a lot in the long run on paying for fuel. It's the best heat that you can provide for your home, and it's just an overall good investment for anyone looking to live off grid or go off grid. But I did want to just chime in on all of this because it's very cold even now. It's really cold. You can't be out there too long, especially without gloves. You will feel it, okay? But first and foremost, protect yourself, especially if you have children that have to walk to school. I remember those days living in Detroit when we had to go to school. If we lived in an area where there was no school bus service, or we were too close for the school bus service, we had to walk. And boy, do I remember those days where we were near frostbite. I remember one school I went to on the east side of Detroit off of Jefferson. I think it was, what was the name of that school? I think it was Keating. That's such a long time ago. But anyway, I remember my hands and feet were almost frostbitten, just waiting to get inside of the school once we got there. Even though we were picked up by the school bus, they would not let you in to the building until the bell rang. That's just how it was. And we literally had to stand outside in the snow, in the cold, until the bell rang. And within that time, it was plenty enough time to get cold or frostbitten. And so definitely make sure you keep those kids safe and warm with double socks, double gloves if you can, earmuffs, those caps that cover your whole face. I mean, whatever you can to keep them warm. If they have to walk to school, do that. I don't know if they are closing the schools because of this. I know a lot of schools are open and they are doing business as usual, only with masks on. So if you're in one of those areas where school is open and you still have to walk, keep those kids warm. So anyway, I am done with this story. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, share and like this video, and with that, I am out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.